What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy. I'm back. So it's a new year, right? We found out what the letter of the year is. We found out who's going to be the uh, regulating deities of the year to come. For those of you who don't know, it's actually Ochun and Ogun. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Ochun and Ogun. Go figure that one out. Um, But those are the two that are actually going to be taking over this year, and I am ecstatic, happy, as I am every year when the new letters come out. So we'll see what the year holds for us. Make sure that those of you that follow um, Lukumi, Elegua1, that you guys actually get with your elders and get all your bosses done, do all your cleanings, and may the new year be a blessed one. Okay, so let's get into what before we get into what I'm going to get into. The last video I made, it's funny. I'm going to make this comment and then I'm going to end that, right? The last video I made, I said that some people are going to wind up getting twisted and they're going to get their feathers ruffled a little bit by some of the comments that I made because some people felt that they were a little personal. I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of text messages. I'm not gonna say I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of text messages from people who I've known throughout the years. A lot of them were positive messages. I don't want to say a lot of them, but there were a few that were negative. And to those people who felt the need to contact me and make this a personal attack, you're the fuckers I'm talking about. Enough said. So let's start on this. This is going to be the first series of 5 videos that I'm going to make, and we're going to start with the deities. The main deity that I'm actually going to wind up starting with today is with Elegua. Those of you who know Elegua, as I spoke about this deity in the past, he is one of the younger ones in the pantheon. He is the one who opens and closes doors. He's the owner of the crossroads. He's the owner of jokes, tricks, and a lot of people associate him with children, only because he is a jokester and he's a trickster. Okay. Elegua is the messenger of they consider him to be the diviner of heaven and earth. He is the one who travels between earth and Olofi, right, our god, letting them know, and Olodumare, letting them know what goes on here on earth. Elegua is said to actually have a feather, and that feather is what actually is his key to wind up going between realms, right? So he goes between this realm and heaven to report what he has to wind up reporting to Olofi and Olodumare, right? It's that one feather. So a lot of santeros say that the feather that he uses is the feather. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a red feather, orange feather. It's a loro feather, Loro, loro feather. That sometimes we wind up using it right upside here. Sometimes we'll put it in the back. Sometimes we'll put it in our wallets. But that's the feather that he uses to wind up moving between this realm and the next. A lot of santeros say that. A lot of santeros believe it. I'm one of those people who actually believes it. Okay, moving on. So basically, Elegua here on earth, his job is to test the faith of man. He puts us to the test. He sees what we are willing to try to do to exceed or to get to a point where we want to get to in life, right? How does he do that? He tests us. How does he test us? He puts us on different roads. So there's different paths in front of everyone, right? If you know that, the best example I can use is if you're going to your job, right? And you know that to get to your job, you have to take this path. This is the path that you take every day, Monday through Friday, some of us 7 days a week, to get to and from work, right? And one day we wake up and we decide that once we hop in our car and we're at the crossroads, right, where we have to either making a left or a right to take the road that we normally take to get to work, we decide that we're not going to wind up taking the road that we normally use to travel. We decided that this time we're going to wind up going a different route. So we go down a different route, And we went and did this whole circle to get right back onto the same path that we wind up using to get back to the route that we need to get to work. Right? A lot of people wind up saying, and that's Elegua. That's one of his characteristics. He'll test you to see if you actually wind up taking the path that you need to take that's predestined for you, because I believe in that. Predestined for you to wind up getting to the points where you need to get to the for you to achieve the outcome that you're looking for. Okay. So he winds up testing our faith. That's how he tests it, right? He puts different paths in front of in our way. Sometimes we'll wake up, like for example, today's Monday. Today's the day that we all get up and we pay homage to Elegua. We ask for his blessings for the start of a new week. We ask for him to give us health, for him to give us prosperity, to help us make the right decisions throughout the week. And then, we light our candles, we do what we got to do, and then we keep it moving, right? But the thing is to always wind up revering him on Mondays, because that's his day. Mondays, the start of the work week. Some people do it on Sundays because they don't have enough time to do it on Mondays, okay? Which is also fine. So that's Elegua. Now, within Elegua, and there's something that I have to wind up saying at this point, within any one of the Orishas that we're going to be talking about in this pantheon, there are always a number of different paths for that deity. Now, what I mean by that, this is going to sound a little confusing, see if you can follow. What I mean by that is, we all know Elegua as Elegua, the child, right? The trickster, the owner of our destiny, the owner of our crossroads, the one who sits there and waits to see if we make the right decisions in life. And if not, he puts us on another road to see if we make the same mistakes that we made over and over and over again, right? Okay. Well, there's only one Elegua, but within that one Elegua, there are 121, in this particular deity, 121 different caminos, paths. Paths meaning different names of the same deity, and each name means something different. Now, I said 121. I'm not going to sit here and go through all 121. That's ridiculous. We'll be here forever. But what is important to mention here is that there is one female path of Elegua. A lot of people say that they don't believe in that path. A lot of people say that they've never heard of that path. A lot of people say that it's a made-up path. It's not, ladies and gentlemen. It is a true path of Elegua, the only female, the only path of Elegua where there's an essence of womanhood. Okay, I think that's the easiest way that I can put. And if I remember correctly, let me just look at my notes right quick here. Right. The path of the Elegua that I'm referring to is called Anaki, Anaki. Right? And it's in my notes, I actually put down here that it says that Anaki is the one who keeps the order amongst the other Eleguases. She is the one who sends each path out to do what is needed to be done amongst humans. Okay? So she's like the motherly figure amongst them all, right? But that's the one female path of Elegua. Now, if that's basically Elegua in a nutshell, right? But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you what's called a pataki. It's a story, right? That we all have to wind up demonstrating or to describe in more detail what this deity that we're speaking of represents, right? So it's kind of like a general story. So here's what the one on Elegua that resonates with me the most. I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands of different stories of different patakis that you wind up hearing from different santeros. The older they are, the more intense they are. The older they are, the more mysterious they are, you know. So I always like sitting back and listening to my elders when they're telling these stories, because it's like, wow, oh my God, that describes this particular Orisha in such a way that it actually reflects in me, or, you know, it's that type of stuff. So I enjoy that type of stuff. That's me. But the one that I'm going to tell you about is the one between Elegua and Olofi. Elegua and God, who we call God, Olofi. Okay? Well, one day, Olofi's creating heaven and earth, and all of a sudden, he gets ill. Right? He gets ill. And you can see that Olofi always had this shroud of brightness around him. He was a king among kings. He's the be all end all, right? And then he gets sick one day because he's just so tired and he has no help. So what he does is he goes ahead and he summons all the other Orishas to come to the castle. So they all show up to the castle. And he's sitting on his throne and he's slumped over on his throne. And everybody's looking at him and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with Olofi. What's going on? He looks so sick. So one by one amongst them all, they decide that they're going to take different strides and different things that they know to try to wind up seeing if they can cure Olofi. So they all go one by one. And they all fail one by one. Elegua sees what's going around, keeping in mind he's a child, right? So he's scurrying around amongst all the other Orishas, and he's scurrying around and scurrying around. And he winds up asking Obatala, Baba. He asks a few others first. He asked Oya. He says to Oya, he pulls on her skirt. He says, Oya. And Oya, with that stern look that she has, looks at, Elegua before he can even let out what he's going to say. He gets scared and he starts running behind other Orishas just to not feel her wrath. Right? The true scared child, right? You're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. That type of deal. Well, he eventually ends up at Obatala, and at Obatala, he pulls on Obatala and he says, Baba, if I'm an Orisha like everyone else, then why does everyone else scoff at me and not let me try to wind up seeing what I can do to wind up curing Olofi? And Obatala, old and wise, dressed in all white with his white hair, robe of regalia, looks at Elegua, raises his walking stick. There's a hush that comes around the room. And Obatala speaks. He goes, since we have all tried and we have all failed, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give Elegua a chance to try to see if he can cure what's ailing our father. Right? So Elegua, being a child, goes up the stairs and sits on Olofi's lap. Goes into his little bag of tricks. Takes out three pieces of herb. 3 herbs, 3 different pieces of herb. He goes ahead and he puts it inside of Obatala's mouth, and he puts it in Obatala's mouth, inside of Olofi's mouth. Olofi's so weak that he can't chew. So Elegua starts helping him so he can chew and so he can swallow. Takes out another piece of herb, starts cleaning him with it. Gets down off and starts to walk towards where Obatala was. And everybody's sitting there, everybody's standing there, they're all looking, all the other deities are there, they're all looking on, and they start to talk amongst themselves, and they're like, why did Obatala allow for Elegua to go up there? If we tried and we know more than he does, how is it that, he, with 3 herbs that even Osain went and used, couldn't heal Olofi? Why is Obatala allowing this to happen? This is a mockery. Then as they're all of a sudden, they start seeing this glow. And when they all turn around and they look up to the throne, they see Olofi is coming back. They see that his energy is coming back. His glow is coming back. His purity is coming back. His energy that fills the room is coming back. His everything is coming back. And he stands up in front of his throne. And he's at the top of the stairs, and he says, Elegua, come here. And everybody's in shock. Elegua moves up and he goes, kneels and Baba. Olofi says, what was it that made you decide to use those 3 herbs for you to cure what was ailing me? And Elegua, as the child that he is, said, well, I've seen what every single Orisha uses in this room because I walk the earth. And I saw the herbs that Olofi uses in his house, and that everything that he uses to cure people in the forest. And the forest, the deepest secrets in the forest belong to me, not only to Ochosi, who's the hunter. Okay. He says, because of that, Olofi says to Elegua, because of that, from this day forward, since they all ridiculed you while you sat here and were the only one who was able to cure me, and you were ridiculed, from this point forward, whenever any of them get fed, you get fed first. So you eat first. From this point forward, you are going to be the bringer of messages between the earth and heaven. And I'm going to give you this feather so you can be able to use it as your key to be able to roam between heaven and earth and not have to worry about anything else. Everybody was in shock. Nobody understood it. Why? Because Elegua, and this is true about children of Elegua, I've noticed. I've come to realize. Children of Elegua never stay in one spot too long. Children of Elegua always have to be busy. Children of Elegua always have to be running around doing something. And they're smart. People see them as overactive. People see them as children with ADD. People see them with 1,001 defects. Those aren't defects. Those are Elegua's children. Remember, I said he was a child. So whenever we throw a feast to Elegua, we invite children, especially if it's in his honor and in his name. We invite children. We have candies. We have toys. We have noise makers. The more noise, the better. That's what Elegua likes. But that, in essence, I think, describes who Elegua is in a nutshell. Right? Elegua is a deity that a lot of people revere. A lot of people are in love Elegua. A lot of people fear Elegua. A lot of people fear a lot of the deities that we're going to be talking about. But this is not about fear. This is about reverence. This is about what we call moforibale, offering them their space on this earth, in the heavens, in the astros, the indefinite, the infinite of what is the pantheon of Orisha, Kariocha, Lukumi, and the wisdom that actually goes about what people learn and how they can go about learning about different things about these different deities. I will tell you this, there are many books that are out there. I've said this time and time again. There are different ways to research things on the web. I've said this time and time again. I tell you that if you are someone without an elder and you want to use those things, by all means use them. I'm not going to discourage them. But at the same time, be very, very careful on what you read and make sure that it's not literal. Do not take what you read on the web as literal. Do not take what you read in the books as literal. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, these books are written by people who are doing research. People who are gone to others' houses or travel to Cuba, travel to Nigeria, travel to Yoruba, travel to, Olowo, wherever, to wind up doing their research. Okay? So my thing to you is this. I hope that you like this little video about Elegua. If you have any questions, hit the like button, subscribe. I answer the questions as best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'm fortunate and blessed enough to actually have elders around me who can answer my questions for me, and I can pass that information on to you. Um, it's a new year. Let's start it off right. Everybody do what you got to do for the year. Start it off right. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Like I said, it's your boy. Peace. And we'll see you on the flip.